so good. If you want to understand, because I've seen interviews by folks who are in media that say that Good Morning, the morning show on Apple TV, there are some similarities to reality of all the stuff that goes on. And I have to tell you, I was totally. I mean, there's drama in every office. I don't care if you're working in retail, if you're working on Wall Street. There's always drama. I mean, I had lots of drama. We had lots of drama at the stock exchange. Who slept with who went to the party, who was hanging out in the back of the curtains, who was in the bathrooms, who's doing this, who's on drugs. I mean, every workplace has drama. And I don't know why I never thought about it. And when it came to media, traditional media, and the morning show is really good. The writing is good. The characters. Sometimes I think the first two seasons are really powerful. I think the third season is just slightly a little lacking because some things may not be believable, but it's still good. And I'm now entering to season 4. So, and this is season 4. So I'm caught up. Anyway, let me bring on the wonderful ladies, my Wednesday folks, my Wednesday Padres. How you guys doing, ladies?
I'm good.
Good morning. I'm doing well.
There you go. You were frozen.
Who's
Yes.
frozen?
So what's
Oh.
going on with you ladies? How are you guys doing this week?
You want to start, Miss Elise? You want me to start?
No, you can start, Gwendolyn.
Okay, so where I'm going to start is I'm going to share. Let me say I'm going to share. So October is when I normally get ready for 2026. Whether I'm going to be here or not, it doesn't stop, the idea of making a plan. So I've been decorating my calendar. I got my stickers. I have my new pens. So I'm like feeling very excited and refreshed. Despite all the foolishness happening, I was reading a book. I'm almost done with it by Seth Godin. This is Strategy. And he's talking about like when people want to keep the status quo, there is a place where there is a lot of chaos and turmoil, and it's just like a lot of friction and tension. And I thought, feels very familiar because it's a cycle, but it doesn't last forever. This won't last forever. Is it going to be ugly? Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we have to like dwell in it. So I've got my calendar. It's looking really cute. We have a new planner coming. Gwendolyn is excited. There you go.
Nice. I think our signals are a little off today as well. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my signal, but you were a little choppy there, Gwendolyn. Elise, what's going on in your world?
Oh, look, my world is whirling.
It is me.
Look, my world is whirling. But it's like you said. I heard you say how you are exhausted, and that's and people are becoming. But that's a part of the whole plan, right? The whole plan is to exhaust people, and get them to the point where they disconnect, and that's a part. That's a part of the strategy. Part of the strategy is exhaust people, frustrate people, confuse them, throw them off, so they never know what. So I'm just kind of focusing on what I can do in everything. That's what I'm focused on, and then trying to, if people talk to me, help it make sense, but still making sure that all of that, I still go out and do my things. I still go out and see art. Took my husband down. Went down to the mall the other day. The National Art Gallery was already closed because of the shutdown. We found that statue of the guys holding hands and took a couple of pictures with the people out there. So you're just enjoying the beauty of the day and being every day, and wanting to realize that we're not alone in all this. So, I haven't. We're gonna take a trip, go to Ohio, visit some family and stuff like that. But we're not alone in all this, and you're not alone in feeling of exhaustion. But are we here? Are we here?
Some technical difficulty. My Wi-Fi. I just switched to my hotspot.
Okay.
My Wi-Fi is acting up. Now I can see everybody nice and clear. You're on mute, Gwendolyn.
I'm not on mute. I wasn't speaking. She was speaking. Ms. Elise was speaking.
No, it just cut off. It
cut out.
Really
Yeah, it just
yeah.
I saw me.
So, now we're on my Wi-Fi. We're on my hotspot. The house Wi-Fi seems to be down. Or going down. Or having some problems. But what's going on? Go ahead, Elise.
Yeah, so that's really that's really it. Is trying to still stay focused on things. I don't watch. I've long not watched regular news because regular news is trash these days.
Yes.
So I kind of listen to things and look up facts and things like that. Finally pull up some pages for my husband because I said, okay, so he's gonna ask me, is this in Project 2025? So I pulled it up and say, here, read. I printed some pages out for him. So I said, just so you don't ask me, you can read this. So
not to interrupt you, but what are some of your resources that you like to go to for your, as you are, making sure you know what's going on in the world? What are some of your resources that other people in the community could, use?
I think most of the resources are similar to yours. But I go to people who are talking real facts and can show me real time information. I don't go to people who have opinions all the time because that doesn't help me. I watch the Don Lemons, but I watch everything through my lens. Don Lemons is good for some things. And then I also remember that he is a journalist, a TV journalist.
Okay.
And some of the things come out like TV journalists come out, and so I can watch those things. There are people I don't watch. I still watch Aaron. Aaron will get partners with people. One that people always say, don't watch him, but he's in DC. He goes on the street. I can see that, and I watch a certain because I know his history. But I have to watch and filter. So I watch all of those things. I listen to a lot of things, but I think we all have to be careful how we do it. I don't like to listen to. Well, I hear them, the ones with all their opinions on stuff.
Yes.
Killers and screamers, but that doesn't do anything for me. And right now, I am looking for people who have strategies, as opposed to just talking heads. And I know you love Don Lemon, but Don Lemon need to talk to the people and say, hey, let's do this. Roy Reid gives out great information to say what we're gonna do and not just regurgitate what's happening. And that's what we're getting. We're getting a lot of regurgitation. I can turn on the TV or I can look online and see the news clips all day and see the same thing that they're telling me.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But what is it going to do? And I think we're at the point we're at that inflection point. And I do feel things are going to work out. But right now we're at I guess what you would call like the climax part where everything is escalating. Everything in these people's head is escalating. You want to have the Insurrection Act. You want to arrest the governor, the mayor. We know it's not going to happen for arresting the governor and mayor, but the escalation is purposeful too. So that still keeps you off focus and confused and exhausted. Yeah. It all has a purpose.
Can I add to that, Miss Elise?
Absolutely.
May I add to that? So if you're getting your news outside of the US, then you're going to pretty much get some really good news, some really good what's happening and what have you. And I was chatting with the husband and I was like, you know what, Americans, God bless me when I say this, we are just a little, I don't want to use the word lazy. We're entirely too comfortable is what it is. We're too comfortable and we just have to we are the frog in the pan. Like the water is boiling.
You're right. The water is
really boiling.
It's hot.
Off. You got eyeballs popping out.
Yeah, we lose skin.
Feels okay. So when you look at other places, and I hate comparing us But at the exact same time, in terms of human behavior, I can't help but compare us. You see what's going on in Italy, what's going on in France, what's going on in Georgia. People are like, we're not going to take this. And then they get up and move and do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they get up and move and do stuff. And then you have Americans like, well, I don't think it could ever happen here. Like, are you serious? It can never happen here. Heffa is happening here.
Absolutely.
Happening here.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
truth.
We are so comfortable. And we have like, and I highly suggest if anybody out there likes to read about human behavior and just business, but not just business, but like how we live life, I will say This Is Strategy by Seth Godin is really good because he talks about like the gatekeeper and the systems and the status quo and how a lot of us benefit from the system keeping the status quo. And those are the people who, although they may be at the bottom, they refuse to even do anything to break the status quo. So it's great to talk about some stuff, but I don't want to do that because I got to make sure I still get this. Right? Like we are just like American consumers, citizens. We are just so freaking comfortable. The world has never been really hard for us, for some of us. And so the system is now giving us some kind of benefit. So I'm going to stay with that. Whereas you have other people who are like, as they say, coyotes. They come in there and they want to make you think about some things and they want to stir it up and cause turbulence. You know, those are the folks who break the status quo. It takes time to do it. But I was like, why can't we just say, let's stop working and get in the streets? Now, I know Black folks got to be careful because they looking for us. They looking for that dark meat. This is very true. They looking for that dark meat. However, if we could just get people to just get in the streets and do things, but because the system is working, they're like, nah, status quo ain't that. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Not yet. So I was just like,
It's not bad until it hits your wallet. It's not bad until it hits your job. It's not bad until you have no health care. It's not bad. I mean, but even this is I hear what you're saying too, but I look across the country and I'm listening to so much, like the farmers have lost their
income.
Their income. They zero. 2 months in a row, our farmers had zero income for their soy. And you would think they would be out on the streets and online or something, but no, it's like, oh no, we love Trump. And then this gentleman he goes around from farmer to farmer to farmer and he interviews them about their conditions. And at the end of his interview, he always says, and will you vote for him again? And they always say yes.
Because it's it's what they're getting out of it. Ooh. So they're losing, they're going broke. They're losing the farm. These people are losing their farms, right?
They're losing their farms.
But they're holding on to hatred.
That hate is
they're holding on to all of that stuff. They're holding on to all the propaganda. And somehow on the other side, they're like, oh, we're going to feel better. And one farmer did say, I heard this recording from a farmer. He said, now, you're going to give us tariff money from tariffs. So you're going to take our money, then you're going to give it back to us.
Yes.
Right. And that's exactly what it is. You're going to take the money and give it back. And all of these distractions are coming out. But you have one guy, I've seen him a couple of times. He's a soybean farmer. And it's like, I have 0 orders from China. Why should China order from you? And then they were really upset because you're giving $20 billion to Argentina, which is your biggest competition. And Argentina's like, hey, China, we're not going to charge you that these extra things if you keep on buying from us. They just increase their sales to China.
Well, the Chinese have now been buying from Brazil their soy.
Argentina.
And also Argentina just got, what was it, 20 plus billion dollars.
Ron, can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I can hear you.
Okay, so that's the part I just said though.
But I'm sitting there like they got that money. Meanwhile, the farmers are like, wait a minute, you're not giving us that money. What's going on? So, but
But we have to be honest too in America, right?
We have
so honest part of America is that the farmers, white farmers in particular, have been receiving welfare for years.
For years.
Some to not grow, some to grow. They've been receiving the hand that they keep saying they don't want anyone. They've been getting handouts for years.
Yes, it's
and
true.
So Argentina, I don't know if the thought was that if we give Argentina this $20 billion, which you keep telling you don't have money for healthcare in America, go figure.
But you give it to a country
who's one of your main competitions for your farmers and soybean. And so all they did after you gave them, after you said you were going to promise them the $20 billion, is that they went on and
reduced their price
sales to China.
Yes. They reduced their price to China, so China will buy more.
Absolutely. Why not? You gave me money, so what's attached to the money? And so you can. It's still the old thing that Lyndon Johnson said.
Yes.
You can tell the poor white man that he's better than somebody else, and you can steal the money out of his pocket, and he will give it to you.
He will give it to you
as
because he feels better than the black person.
Someone's less than them. So that's their problem. But the whole part is they've been so conditioned and filled with this propaganda and hatred and racism. We have to call a thing a thing. Because I don't believe in saying something that's not what it is.
No, it is what it is. It's
racism. Lies. So they have propaganda, they have outright lies that they're living with. And a part of it also is if I say I wouldn't be in, I have to admit that I was wrong.
Yes.
People don't like it when they're wrong. Too many people don't. I don't have a problem with that. I'll tell you I was wrong.
That's right. Same here. I've been wrong a million times.
Many times Ron has been wrong. Yes, say that louder.
I know you can vouch for that.
Yes, I can vouch for 1,000 times.
1,000. Thank you, Gwendolyn. What they say? Keeping us truthful.
But Gwendolyn and Jazzy and I talked to Jazzy and I talked to Gwendolyn separate times, and what Americans have to do with that 99% to do, because no matter what you look like, you look in that mirror. If you're not classified as one of the 1%, you're in the same place we are. We have to shut things down. I heard my daughter put a video up that had this young black woman, and she was saying how, well, this is not Italy, and we can't do this. Yes, we can.
We can.
We don't have to. We see models of what work. We can do it. We just have to make excuses for it. Even there was this one influencer. I heard her. She's the one with the interesting glasses on. Sometimes she just sits there and listens. Sometimes her thing was she listened to this young black woman, and yet a young black had some crazy points. But then she got to the point where we just need to not go to work. We need to just shut things down. She's like, I'm going to work because I need my money. That's your problem.
That's the problem.
They're not willing to take a chance. They're not willing to be uncomfortable. Beings or take a risk. You just want to be on there getting some scores and points on social media, but willing to have skin in this game while that pot is boiling with you in it.
And you're not getting any money for the followers online. And I mean, again, we saw a glimpse. We've seen a glimpse of what with ABC losing $1 billion over a weekend. We saw Target. When the people take action, there's results. But could you imagine and again, until we get 10%, we can't even get 10% of this country to get on the bandwagon.
Add a thought there, because I'm in a different stage of my life right now. I'm not like Miss Elise. Exactly. We're not retired because I still got to work.
Right.
But I would say I'm like semi-retired, something like that. But there also is a place where the way that myself and Mr. Jack have chosen to live our life, is shifted from when we first got together, right? if you think about the American citizen society, there's a lot of assimilation. We are like the Gap. Everybody wants to be the same. They talk about being an individual, but God forbid if you actually try to be an individual. They want to make you the outsider. They want to make you the other. And they try to dissuade you from being out of the groupthink. It's just like you have to really check it. And so I was talking with someone else about values. Like, what do you really value? What do you really value? Now, take Black people. Okay, because we're coming from a different place. We don't have the same programming as white persons, where their social circle and everything, that is it. That is, for some of them, the whole thing of their identity. Got to get into the right school. I got to go to the right church. I got to go to the right, social program. Like, that's all of it. And then you have what's given to everybody else is keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be like the Joneses, right?
Yeah.
You have the Black folks. I'm only talking Black people who want to ascend, right? The Jeffersons, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They want to ascend, and then they get to a certain plateau. They're like, okay, yes, we've made it. We've done this. We've done that, and we completely forget what's really happening. That our kids are in these spaces, these private classes, these gym classes, and our children are still being treated just as they were if they weren't treated as others. And it's like, did you really value that though? Because I think about my mother and father, they lived in that house. Well, my mother's still there, so I'm not saying like that, but they had that house. It's been like 50 something years they've had that house. And that house has done a lot. It has been enough for 2 adults, 4 kids, and a whole host of animals, cats, dogs, chickens, all the things. Right?
I didn't know your parents had a Noah's Ark.
Man, my mama said, don't bring not another pet to this house. So bring not another animal to this house. You know what I'm saying? But it was enough. My parents were not part of that's a good school, right? Like that was not where they were. And if you look at this, and God forbid me, this sort of new parenting where we were putting our kids in these rooms that are not meant for them. Now, I'm not saying that your child can't go to a private school, whatever, but we have seen these people treat these kids poorly in public places. So then you think, how are they being treated when people are not looking?
Right.
So I go back to, I get what you're saying that, people won't let go. There are so many things happening that if you will unplug out of the matrix, you might just see this place for what it really is. But that's asking, I'm not saying it's asking for a lot. There's a lot to deal with. You got people who are boiling in the pot. You have people who are still plugged into values that aren't even theirs. You have people who are trying to make sure they're part of the status quo. There's like so many things happening. Can we do it all? I believe we can. I mean, I am clear. I know the life I had before, so I'm not saying that you can't. But if I could go back and do it again, no, I would not be getting that Neiman Marcus card and sitting at the fashion show front row buying clothes I could not even afford. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it this time around.
Well, hindsight is 2020, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Hindsight is 2020. Because I'm packing up the house. And I'm sitting there like, man, I wasted money on this. I wasted money on that. I was like, it was beautiful at the time. But then I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, as I'm clearing out the house, I'm like, man, I could have had so much more wealth if I just would have just said, because it was just buying it because it looked good or it was nice or, whatever that reason was. Or even to keep up with the Joneses, maybe.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have to admit, people have to, especially Black people, have to admit, you do it for the status. You do it to keep up with the Joneses. You put on that outfit, and go out there. I got this on and that on. They're gonna see me, yeah. But guess what they see first?
Blackness.
That's what they see first, regardless of what you have on. They see that first. They don't. That means nothing.
And in some circles, they go, "How did she get that? How did he get that?" So it's not even like, "Oh, you went out and bought it." It's like, "How did she get that? How did she get that dress? How did she get that sweater?"
Look, I've attended because it can be kind of wonky in the art world. I've walked in some art events and they're probably looking at me like, "Oh, she's here." Absolutely, I'm here. Do I know anybody? I know God. I know Jesus. I know.
But I want to also
DM'd an
share.
artist.
This
I
is
DM'd an
something.
artist. The artist said, "Come on in." So I show up. Y'all can't help me get in, but let me tell you, I prayed and God said, DM this artist.
There you go.
I walked through a door that I'm telling you, there were several people who were surprised I walked in that door that day. But that's okay. I got there.
Here's something. This is what you were saying earlier. And I wanted to just share this with you. Just hold on a second.
Most people have never heard of this quote from President Lyndon B. Johnson, but it might be one of the most honest things any U.S. president has ever said about racism. He said, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. Now, LBJ wasn't talking about feelings. He was exposing a system. It's a psychological trick that has been used for centuries to convince poor white Americans into supporting policies that harm them. Racism has always served as a distraction, a smokescreen. While the working class is taught to resent or fear Black people, immigrants, or marginalized communities, they completely overlook the real cause of their suffering. The wealthy elite robbing them blind. This tactic still works today. Just look at what's happening right now. Republicans recently passed a massive domestic policy mega bill loaded with tax breaks, not for everyday people, but for billionaires, venture capitalists, private schools, and even rum manufacturers, all while slashing social programs, blocking healthcare access, and attacking public education. But instead of demanding answers or change, many working class white Americans are being told that the problem is wokeness, DEI programs, immigration, or Black history. That's not an accident, that's strategic. The goal is to keep people emotionally enraged and racially divided, so they never organize around their shared economic interest. That's the real con. Racism isn't just about hate, it's about control. And as long as people keep falling for it, they'll keep voting against their own future. Not because they're evil, though many of them are, but because they've been lied to. And think about it, the lie has been profitable for the people lying to them in broad daylight. So next time someone just tries to tell you that racism is just a cultural issue, just remember it's actually an economic tool used to divide the working class, destroy solidarity, and keep power in the hands of a few. It's time to stop.
Yeah.
Isn't it just he laid? I was like, this was so good. I had to, and you just happened to mention the quote. I had saved it.
That's my favorite quote from Lyndon. Every time I think about what's happening in America, you cannot understand. You can't understand them unless you understand his quote.
Yes.
And their need to be that way, and their need to. Yes, I woke up this morning like you know how you wake up and you think about stuff. My thing is like the othering.
Yes.
How it's the othering. It's like everybody in the 99%, what works and how they keep us divided is othering.
Othering.
To tell you you're better. I don't care if it's within one race, you're telling somebody you that person over there, and even though they're in your group, they better. The othering is what defeats us, and they're effective at getting us to deal with the othering. I don't care who you are. That 9%, we are all in that same bucket. We're all in that same pot of water that's boiling with our skin peeling off at this point, and still going, she like me. She doesn't speak like me. He doesn't look like me. He doesn't speak like me. He doesn't have as much money as I do. But guess what? You're still in this pot.
That's right.
Doesn't matter even how much money you have. You in that pot if you're not in percent. And I could go even further. If you are not in that 1% and you are white, quote unquote, heterosexual male, quote unquote. Yeah, you know who was saying, quote unquote, Christian. There's a lot of quotes in here. You in that bucket. You're in that pot of boiling water. I don't care what you have. You're in that
Everyone's
pot of
in it.
And we keep wanting, people will keep wanting to comfort in the lie. The lie is that you're somehow different. Those are the others, and this is you. We all are in that pot of boiling water.
Every one of us. Everybody's in the pot. And Gwendolyn, if you can put, write the put in your comment the book there that you mentioned, so that way people know the book. And
can we also talk about Dr. Tachi's question? This is a good one, right? It's a good one. So, in my opinion, here's how I'm combating that, because I have a passion about education and work environment. That's where my passion lies, right? So often, if I talk about something or I share something, it is linked to education, or it's linked to how employees are treated. And I am a big person when it comes to employee power. Like, you got to know your power. You are a salesperson. You're selling your work for a paycheck, right? You don't work for somebody. You work with them, because at any point in time, you can take your skills and go some other place or work for yourself. It's one of those, right? So I believe the point comes in, like, we are at that inflection point. It's a lot of tension. Tension brings change, but like a rubber band, it's going to pop at some point. It's going to pop, and so it changes. But the more people pick whatever pillar they have that is their soapbox, the more people start standing on that and talking about it consistently with the passion that comes with it, the more you have a chance of getting into somebody's head. Think about commercials. Think about how many times you visit a website once, and then for the next 18 days, that commercial plays over and over and over. And they're like, you know what? I think I want to buy a new bag. I think I need to wait. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should go ahead and get
over and over again.
Because you're going to get people who are at a place of, am I going to keep going left or am I going to go right? And there are some people who are feeling this thing of something has to give. So if you are the person who presents an idea that speaks to their soul, they're going to be like, well, you know what? So tell me more. I believe that everybody does not have to do the 9 to 5. I believe in remote work. I believe in the movie 9 to 5. We should be doing some different things in 2025. Lord bless. We should be doing it. But the status quo profits a certain percentage, that one.
Oh, absolutely.
That status quo works for them. God forbid if you realize how much power you have as an employee or a person who sells their labor to somebody else. God forbid if you realize how much power you have. That's my mission.
Right.
I'm here to tell people, you ain't got to work like this. You don't have to work like this. You don't have to do a 9 to 5. You ain't got to go into no building. You ain't got to follow X, Y, and Z. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can do whatever your heart desires. Are you going to be out there? Is it going to feel funny? Yes, because the story is you work 9 to 5, and then at some point when you're like 77, you get to be a horse and go out to the pasture and just pass out and never use the money you saved for your retirement.
Right. Somebody else.
Hello.
You know, when you talk about what one person or a few people, I always share some stories from my life, right? So we had this principal in high school, and he might have been the third principal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing some things that teachers didn't like, and they were all griping and complaining. They would talk to me. They talked to everybody. I wasn't even on the union. I wasn't a union rep or anything in the building, but I was a renegade. So one day, I got enough people. It may have been 10 of us, 5-10 people, to go to take all of our things down to the office and say we're not going to work today until. We stood there, and the group was, to his surprise, diverse. So there were some white teachers in there too. Mm-hmm. We were standing there, and he called me and said, well, why didn't you tell me this was happening? I said, I did tell you. You just didn't listen.
Mm.
So needless to say, he calls downtown, and I knew the superintendent at that time. So they sent the deputy down because everything stopped, and it stopped because we refused to do anything. Sent the deputy superintendent over, and he said, what do you all want? What would get you back in the classroom? And what we wanted. The principal said, I'm going to do it. And now the head of the building rep, the building rep was in there, and he was going, oh, they're going to, y'all. I said, okay, so what? And so needless to say, the principal had to do all those things that we requested. Mm-hmm. Some of he did immediately because it was an easy fix. And we went back to work.
Mm.
It shows you the power of what
the power of the people.
It doesn't take 1 million people. Like Ron, you said 10, you can't get 10%. I promise you, if we do what Gwendolyn says and we flood the zone and people start picking up on it, let's shut the country down for a day or two. If you flood that zone, you'll get more than 10% of people, because they're all looking for somebody to say what strategy you can use. And along with that strategy, how do you prepare for the strategy?
Yeah.
Like, what provision I need to make sure that I have in place? What people do I need to make sure I can connect with? We do this for 2 days. How does this work? Because the restaurant can't open it. And if you can convince some of these small businesses to participate in it, then it's not about you losing your job, because your body is there with you. So it's about the voice. Everything starts with someone. It starts with the kernel somewhere. It starts with a seed. One seed is planted and a whole tree comes out of it, right? So it's about planting the seed and moving forward. There are times when you do it, and there are different things that I did in my educational career that people thought was nuts, like walking out of my building because it was no heat, and all the other teachers are complaining, wearing gloves and hats. And I told them, I said, okay, I'm in the principal's office. I said, you got until 10 o'clock class starts, and if that heat is not on, I'm gonna be at home. You can send them to my house. Heat wasn't on at 10 o'clock. I put my stuff on, got in my car, and went home. But I tell you what, they were on the phone before I walked out of the door, calling maintenance at the central office to get the heat back on. Guess what was back on by afternoon? The heat. And I also said, you're not going to leave. I also said, you can't take my leave. Don't do it. I out of that building, and all the other teachers are looking. You're in the basement freezing. You're teaching with hats and gloves and a bubble. Why aren't you pushing back on that? So I said, I'm not working. And the woman was on the phone. I got a teacher that said, because there's no heat in here. I said, because this is not lawful.
Yes. This
is against the law for us to be in here in cruel and inhumane conditions. He was back on. Could I have reprimanded? I sure could have. Did I care? No, because there was a building full of teachers, and most importantly, there were a building full of children.
Yes.
Freezing. Because no one just picked up the phone and said the heat is off in the building and we need you to do it. So it's one person can start a movement. And we have historically, you've seen where one person has started a movement. One person said,
one person.
Washington. It wasn't Martin Luther King, but he was able to start that movement.
Yeah, like the young lady, woman in Oklahoma, I think it's Oklahoma, that started she did her walk every year. The one that was able to, finally we got Juneteenth. She was out.
Miss Opal Lee.
Yeah,
Miss Opal Lee.
Yeah,
it took her.
From Texas.
Yeah, it was Texas. And Texas. It took years. It was years, and she kept going at it. And here we are. We have Juneteenth, even though they want to try to take it away. Here's something I want to share with you guys. Also, hold on a second. Let's cue this in. Let me get this queued up. And here we go. This is really interesting this week that I stumble across. I always listen to his work and stuff, what he's doing. The Defiant Lawyer. And really good stuff. Anyway, let me just cue it in. No thanks. There we go. So there we go. And we will start it. Our little mute section. Sorry. As you guys see it behind the scenes. Here we go.
The Secretary of HUD.
What's the volume? Come on, volume. I thought I got it. Hold on a second. Unmute. There we go.
I've done a video on Scott Turner already when he went in front of Congress a few months ago. But recently, several whistleblowers who are civil rights attorneys at HUD came out and exposed how HUD is weakening the Fair Housing Act of 1968. And immediately I started thinking, why? Why? Now, I already know why, but it still baffles me. So I'm going to share with you why, and I want to share with you this story, and I'm going to go through it. It's an read, and we're going to look at it closely because housing rights are very, very, very important for us African-American people, for everybody, but especially us, because a lot of our wealth is tied up in home ownership. Now, whites and Asians and other groups of people, ethnicities, they have a lot of their money also in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and so on. But the average Black family, the wealth that we have, and there is this huge wealth gap, is typically tied up in their houses. So housing rights are extremely important for us. Hey, family, do you believe in the work we're doing? Does our content speak to you? Phone call, click the membership button. Scott Turner, and there's another Black man that you shall see who's working with Scott Turner, working under Scott Turner. Why these men are helping Trump weaken, gut, whatever you want to call it, as an act, is a head scratcher. But I think I have the answer here, okay? Now, let's go to another screen. Let's get into this very, very, what I would call sad story. All right, so let's start out with the definition of a term, internalized racism. This says internalized racism is defined as acceptance by members of the stigmatized races of negative messages about our own abilities and extrinsic worth. In other words, we as African Americans, we are a stigmatized ethnicity in this country. And internalized racism is when we internalize the racism that we have been victimized by. In other words, we actually start thinking about ourselves the way white supremacists think about us. So we internalize their racism. And subconsciously, we don't even know it. Subconsciously, we start thinking of ourselves through the eyes, through the prisms of the eyes of a white supremacist. Therefore, thinking of ourselves as inferior all the way around, physically, psychologically, intellectually, in all facets. We start seeing ourselves the very way they see us. This is a clinical definition. This is not something I made up. This is the woman whose name is at the bottom, Kamara Phillips Jones, MD, MPH, and a PhD. Very smart woman, very learned, very educated African-American woman. And she says internalized racism is defined as acceptance by members of the stigmatized races of negative messages about our own abilities and intrinsic worth. It is characterized by our not believing in others who look like us and not believing in ourselves. You see, when you are oppressed and you're told every day, both consciously, subconsciously, you're told overtly and covertly that you are less than, you are other. You're not as smart as everybody else. You're not as pretty as everybody else. You're not as beautiful as everybody else. You're not on everybody else's level. That has damage. And it's not just us. That's people of color around the country, around the world, actually, in this country and around the world. You see this happening all over the place. Take a country like India, where there is a huge colorism problem. And a whole lot of Indians over there in their country, a lot of them use bleaching cream because they too have been affected by this internalized racism. So yeah, it's not just us. It's people around the world, people of color, who are affected by the same racist, white supremacist garbage.
Why did Amazon send me $20,000? Because I use Amazon AI. I'm going to show you a way to potentially.
Talk about those commercials.
So, she goes on to say, it involves accepting invitations or limitations to one's own full humanity, including one's spectrum of dreams, one's right to self-determination, and one's range of allowable self-expression. It manifests, watch this, here's how you see it. This is the way it manifests. It manifests in different ways, but here are some of the ways. It manifests as embracing whiteness. It comes out as whiteness, blacks embracing whiteness, blacks beginning to see the world through the eyes of white people. Because what has happened? They have internalized the racism of white supremacists. You see what I'm saying? So we start thinking like them. We start acting like them. We start talking like them. All right, again, internalized racism. So it manifests as embracing whiteness, that is hair straighteners, bleaching creams, skin tone stratification within communities of color, and the white man's ice is colder syndrome, right? It ain't true till you hear a white man say it. Self-devaluation, racial slurs as nicknames like the N-word, nigga. You know, that's all you hear. I hate hearing it. I hate hearing these young black men calling each other, even with the A, nigga. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because I know it's this right here. I know it's internalized racism, although they say, well, no, it's really us taking that term, co-opting it. Well, why not create some other term? Why take the term that has been used against us, that has been weaponized against us? Because it's really internalized racism. And resignation and helplessness and hopelessness, school dropout, voter non-participation. Whoa, boy, do we suffer from that. Voter non-participation, risky health practices, all of this is the result of internalized racism. Now,
if you want, you could probably go. I'll have the link to it. But I mean, that I was really impressed by how he laid it out, and the internalized racism. And I was, you know, I've seen that. As he was sharing it, especially when he talked about the bleaching cream and all the stuff that we do in our society. He goes in further about our adjacence to whiteness and how it makes us feel good. And because we're with white folks and we have something that they have, they think that in certain mindsets, they think that's going to give them extra privileges. And I mean, he goes into a really good deal. I'm not sure if you ever follow him, but it's the Defiant Lawyers Network. Excellent platform. Just want to give that to you, but I'll make sure I put the link inside the description. But what do you guys think about what you heard so far? Elise, Gwendolyn?
I don't know, Gwendolyn, go ahead.
You know what? Okay, so when I was at NYU, I took a class on race and race relations, right? And we studied not only racism, but also intra-racial racism, right? Because there's colorism in every single ethnicity, even with white folks, even though I wouldn't say it's called colorism, but you can go as far as saying WASP to trailer park, right? So everybody's got some sort of caste system in their deal. I go back to assimilation. It all depends. I mean, I am thankful at this age that my parents were, again, black parents. We weren't doing that. Now, mama gave us Jerry curls, and that was just like one of those blips, but we weren't doing, I mean, it is what it is, right? We weren't doing all that stuff. Like, my parents were not attempting to be adjacent to whiteness. Now, my auntie, you know, I'm not going to lie and say that didn't happen there. My grandmother, my father's mother, she othered us. You know, my mother's dark skinned, we were brown, and so we were treated differently. Yeah, I picked up on that, and God bless her. She came out of it. She came out of her colorism when I was like about, 14, 15. So we didn't have the relationship that I would have wanted. We had so much in common after she died, right? Because I didn't get that. But, you know, when you think about how the colonizer behavior has impacted the Black community, it goes deep. People got a lot of stuff to deal with. People still say like, oh, so-and-so has good hair and so-and-so is light-skinned and so-and-so is this. I'm like, we're not going to get done with that. Like, you don't have to keep using that. You don't have to keep that stuff going. I think it's beautiful that these Black kids are wearing their afros and their cornrows and their dreadlocks and their short dudes.
Or not doing it at all. They just have it all wild. I love it.
You know, I know what I do, right? People are like, are you? It's like, look, this is how God made me. And I wrote a piece that's coming out in the future. Should I write in the future? But, you know, I have a lot of pictures of myself on my social media platforms. I look good. Like, damn it, I look real good. But there are people on the sideline who are like, well, should you be so boastful? Should you be? Yes, bitch. Yes. Yes. Okay. I am. Because think about it, like, you know, as a woman, as a Black woman, from the moment we are born, we are told that we are not.
Absolutely.
From the moment. And again, my parents were like, the good Lord didn't make any mistakes. And so when people say something like, the good Lord didn't make any mistakes here, you're going to have to deal with all of this. And I know you looking because you in my comments. So there.
It's so true. So true. I think what it,
Elise.
look, what my daughter's like, yeah, she cut all that hair off. She's like, she's absolutely gorgeous. My daughter is absolutely gorgeous. But you know, my thing is, it's something that I say all the time. As Black people, many of us participate in systemic racism.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he's describing.
Yes.
Systemic racism. Matt said, and you know, I know they calling it interracism. I call it self-hatred.
Yes.
I mean, we've labeled it a lot of things. You came up with an official phrase they want to use, but I don't want it to be watered down and not acknowledge that it's in part self-hatred. And It's also in part of othering, us othering each other. Like if I do this, if I get out here and dance and shuffle and smash faces and do whatever they want me to do, they're going to be more accepting of me. No, you're just a tool to them. Yes. You're just a stupid tool because you're not even thinking for yourself. You're just doing what you're told. You're not even, and you don't care that it hurts other people because, hey, I'm here. Doesn't matter if it hurts other Black people. They don't care because they bought into the rhetoric, right? They bought into the rhetoric, you know, the same way poor white people have. Well, you know, it's all the other people that are getting these benefits. No, you living over there, Sally, and you got a Section 8 in a trailer.
That's right.
You're in a trailer with a Section 8 and an EBT card and WIC.
Yeah.
And it bought into the illusion, and Jazzy mentioned it earlier, the welfare queen, where they pushed that out and made it seem like it was a Black women when it really wasn't Black women. It was majority white women who were out there. And so because people bought it, and I always did this test with people, even when I did professional developments with people, because I used to do professional development with people, I would ask the question, when you hear poor, who do you see in your head? Don't even think about it.
That's right.
I don't care if you're Black or white. What do you see? You saw me.
That's right.
You didn't see a white person. And that's the first step of honesty. And then as he was talking, and you think about it, where in your life have you been that person?
Oh, I know. I was there.
So,
I've been that person
and then
before.
What made you that person?
Yeah.
What made you that person?
Oh, I was like,
that's a real question.
Are you asking me the question?
I was asking.
No, you know, because especially for instance, when I first started on Wall Street, it was, there was certain looks and styles, and you grab hold because you want to fit in. Like I had my wingtips, my J&Ms, my button-down collar shirts, my button-down, my bow tie. You assimilate, to fit into the community or the society that you're in. And I remember when I first started at the stock exchange, I was like, oh, I gotta get my wares up, and learn how to do the bow tie and do this and do that. And it gives you, some gratification of someone said, oh wow, I didn't know I can't even do a bow tie. Well, I can't do this. But then at the end of the day, though, you learn quick is that you're still the Negro with the A.
Right. And I think you also have to be honest with yourself when you look down on other Black people.
Yes.
Thought they were less than you for whatever reason, right? Whether it was by where they lived or how they dressed, because you were making assumptions because you bought into what the system said about people who looked at Black people who look a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be honest about that part. And I think that's where we fall short sometimes. Being honest with ourselves, number one. My girlfriend who wanted me to, she wanted desperately to join the Jack and Jill in DC. Like, well, Jack and Jill wasn't. See, we were back. That was back, and we were still over 50% Black in DC at the time. And so my thing was, and I shared it with my kids because there were lots of things. But they ended up going to all the Jack and Jill functions. I ain't joined. First of all, I got to pay you, interview, all that crap to be in something. I'm not doing that. So, but the point I made was to my children that I'm not going to allow you to think that you're better than another group of Black people. And oh, by the way, I'm going to go help you.
Mm.
Let's go over there and help the poor children. No, don't go over there thinking you're better than someone else. And there was a 13-year-old, they had an interview on national TV with the national head of Jack and Jill and her daughter, who was about 13. That child said, I get to be with other Black children who have as much money as I do. You 30 money. But that's how she was taught.
Yes.
There were Black people who were beneath them. And I think that's where we have to start. At what point did you think that? And I always said that my upbringing, I'm so grateful to where I started as a child.
Yeah.
To where I am, because it made me think of Black people differently. It made me think of white people differently. My thought has always been, white people just white people. They're just another group of people with a different color skin. They're no better than me. It wasn't because I went to some Ivy League school, and Jazzy mentioned before. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree from the University of District of Columbia, UDC. And some people would call it the University of Dumb Children. I said, but what they didn't know, the math department at UDC, they used
Really?
Oh yeah, because of the acronym, because it was mostly Black people in the school. What they didn't realize at the time, when I got my degree in mathematics from UDC, we had more PhD holders in our math department than Howard University did, and 2 of them were misses. I don't know if you all know what misses are. Your IQ is so high you can't measure it. So yes, I got an excellent education from people who were excellent in what they did. And as they say, at the end of the day, I got all my jobs. Nobody looked at, this one came from Harvard and this one. No, they hired me to do my job. I got invited to apply for jobs standing in my room. They didn't ask me where I got my degree from. At the end of the day, that degree that I could pay for out of my pocket got me just as far as somebody who had $100,000 loan to pay back.
Like I always say, the American Revolution is taught in Harvard the same way the American Revolution was taught at the City College. It's still the same history.
Actually, it may have been a little different at UDC than it was at Harvard.
Yeah.
Because I may have gotten a little more Blackness in mine.
Yes, that's very true. That's true too.
My husband has a whole history degree, and he has more gaps in his Black history than I do, and I got mine when I was in regular school and not even before college. So I think that what we have to do is be honest with ourselves first. Admit that we have done these same things. We have improved. We are better than that. We are better now. We understand it and we own it.
That's right.
But to understand these people, it's easy to look at Django Unchained and see Samuel L. Jackson's character in Housing and Urban Development. This is the second time he did this. He had Ben Carson last time, right? Ben Carson was the Black faces because they're buying it. They're really buying that as Black people.
Yeah.
That's sucking out this stuff. And it really isn't. It's really the majority of poor people in America are white. And we don't want to. We
only make up 13% of the population of
that's
the
all we
overall.
And all 13% of us are not. And we have various income ranges and all that kind of stuff within that 13%. Absolutely true. So when that part comes out, I think people just need to focus in on, no matter how they try to label it, whatever it is, first of all, self-hatred because you've been conditioned that you're not
conditioned for health.
You've been told that your black skin is not beautiful, but they still, like this one little girl said, why do you lay in the sun and try to turn brown?
Working overtime. Working overtime at Dark Tan. I mean, a consistent appointment.
Look, Gwendolyn, why was there something about tanning beds in this big, beautiful bill?
Hello. That was the only one of the tax breaks.
How to get brown. Unfortunately, you keep coming out orange, but you know, hey, what can I say? Hey, makes a special thing. But I think that was why I told my children. But I told my children when they were younger, I said, let me tell you what the truth is. The truth is they envy you. They envy you for your beautiful skin. They envy you for everything about you.
Everything about us. Hair. Yeah.
But all of that stuff.
Our athletic ability, our brain power, our strength,
and our intellect.
Wisdom.
Black women, they envy your intellect. Mm-hmm. Black men, they envy your intellect. Our ancestors invented so many things that caused this country to function.
Yes.
I used to start PTA meetings with, if it were not for a black man, you'd be sitting in the dark.
Right, them folding chairs. Well, okay, talking about the lights.
But I'm just saying,
we had the folding chairs too, though.
Folding chairs, brown paper bag, folding chairs. Everybody don't understand. Even paint. We talk about the mailbox. It's street sweepers. There's so many things that
mailbox, the light post, the traffic light, the
GPS.
It goes on and on and on.
Name it. Keep naming something that you're so comfortable with, and you figure out where it started from. Yeah, you figure out where it came from.
Yeah,
look, good food. Good food, period. So I think, we have
seasoning.
We have to keep saying it to each other, and we have to call each other out, but we don't have to do it out. We don't have to call each other out in public all the time. I can pick up the phone. But we do have to push each other to recognize that when we've been a part of that system and not deny that
we've all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, and it's not about color. Systemic racism is about a color of the perpetrator. It's about how that perpetrator implements that system.
It's power.
It's called a system for a reason.
It's a system. And I love that you brought to us the caste system, because that's what it is. Because again, you go to India, they're all Indian. you go to Middle America, they're all white.
Right.
You go to Ireland, they're white. It's all about the caste system. So it really is. It really is. But guys, we're going to end here, and thank you guys for tuning in. Gwendolyn, yes. Oh, Gwendolyn, yes. Go ahead.
Well, I put the book in the private chat.
Yes, the book in the private.
And I will just drop a little precursor to a conversation coming. Jazzy and I are going to talk about othering in a little bit, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, good.
Let me put this on here so that way you guys can have this, so that way this book that Gwendolyn mentioned. Gwendolyn is serious about her books, and if she thinks you should need it, she will send it. Like, she sent one to me. I'm right here had to read through it. This is Strategy by Seth Godin.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. That's look.
I don't know if they have it where you can see it for free someplace, but there's a movie called American Skin. American Skin. Nate Parker did it. It's been a while, and it gives you, and it's about something that happened with a police officer and everything.
Who is it by? Who?
Nate Parker did. Nate Parker, but it's called American Skin. Mm-hmm. Nate Parker.
Okay.
There's been some things around here, but American Skin, because the reason I want you all to watch it is one of the scenes is like a trial, and you hear Black and Hispanic police officers talk about why they respond a certain way. And that piece has stuck with me. It's been years since I saw that movie, but it's stuck with me ever since then, because of what they said when he talked to them, because that was my experience in schools, working in schools, when it says, oh, Gwendolyn, don't you go out there doing that because you represent me. Gwendolyn is representing Gwendolyn.
Darn right.
Right.
But it made me think about how educators use that.
Yes.
But when you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about when they get to that scene and they're having this kind of trial in the police station.
Oh, guys, check it out.
Very revealing when he talks to different officers from different backgrounds.
So we have American Skin by Nate Parker. And we also have a book to read. This is Strategy by Seth Godin. Nice stuff, y'all. Nice stuff. Okay, guys, let me just go to some of the banners here. So the media, Let's do that. And let's go to the videotape. Make sure you apply, or I should say apply. Go to my website, and you can also sign up for our email. And I'm just gonna get rid of this banner here and get on the email list so I can send you stuff if I need to, or just kind of like let you know what's going on, especially as I'm traveling. Email is gonna probably be the most efficient way in a lot of cases to get to my community, this community. Okay. And also, if you are looking for a photographer, I am an event photographer. I will be doing event. I'll still be working. I am going to be working when I'm traveling. I'll be working when I'm in North Carolina. I'll be working. So I'll be posting and saying, hey, I'm in an area near you. If you need headshots, if you need event photography, you'll know where I am and we'll coordinate. Also, thank you to our Patreon members who support what we do here. We cannot do it without the Patreon members. And if you want to become a Patreon member, just go to patreon.com and just click on Ron Lewis Photos. As you know, this platform is under as well. And sign up. And don't be just a free Patreon member, because being a free Patreon member doesn't really support, you're not really helping out financially with what we do here. But you want to give a $3 coffee for a month, that $3 does go a long way. So check it out, put it in there, go to our Patreon page, patreon.com, and go to Ron Lewis Photos. And last but not least, you are invited to join this channel. If you see this channel, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Okay, I do believe that is it. Gwendolyn, when can people find you? Where can they find you? Because you are hot on YouTube.
I am GR Houston Jack on YouTube and Black Power Bunny on Instagram. And I'm in my teaching season. So there's more coming about that. I mean, it's out there, but there's more coming.
This girl works. She be working
all the time.
All the time.
Answering random questions.
Answering random questions. I am what I say I am. I'm committed to education.
She is. Down. And when you see on her little here, she says there, cheerleader for all. Yeah, y'all better believe it. She really is. She really is a cheerleader for all. Elise, where can people find you on YouTube or Instagram?
On YouTube, you can type in my name and it should pop up. On Instagram, it's SALIEZE _. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this other video. It's a struggle because got to get the language right. It's like
you got it though. It will. The more you do it, the better you get. And look, I remember when I first met you, you were just like, you would pop on Chad's platform and talk, and you do your garden conversations, and now you got a whole platform. So
it's not about that confidence part. It's like I want the point to be heard.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that it's received the right way. It's just like when I decided to read the book. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this passage because y'all need the passage.
You did. You read the passage last week. But we love you. At least if I can always give you the confidence of approval, is that when you speak, it just automatically commands people to listen. You just speak. When you're just sharing, we all stop and listen because your cadence is great. You talk from the heart. You give us truth. You just speak and we listen. All you gotta do is speak.
Thank you. It's like, see, I got that part of me that's a little crazy. The race part.
You got this. So, guys, see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's our Trend Watch Thursday tomorrow, and we'll be here. I'll be here with Chris, and we'll be talking about what's going on in the politics and all that other stuff. There are some things that are happening that you should be aware of, especially as they are kind of like reneging on some of these people that are not working, and now they're saying that they're not going to pay them. Not good.
So that's illegal. So he has
illegal, but we know he don't care. But anyway, we're not going to dive into that today.
Many people
do
to do that with.
Yeah,
they won't do it. But anyway.
So guys, have a great day. Do something wonderful. It's hump day. It's the hump day. Do something special. I always say hump days are great for self hugs. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a hug and say, you made it halfway through the week. Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Give yourself a hug, Gwendolyn. Give yourself a hug. You be working hard.
Yeah.
Later, guys. Love y'all.
All right. I love you too.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.